TFL. Please, I'd like to invite Mr. Christodoulos Makris to join me. A round of applause for Christodoulos Makris. The new war machine.
Haha, I'm very excited about this. It was great fun to write, and I think it will be...
I fully admit that before I went on tour I hadn't read any of the Irish poets, but in the end, actually, they turned out to be okay places.
Like Mr. Ramsell.
Is there anything worse than watching a man punch another man who is prone beneath?
If you gave me a chance, I would take it. Choice, not chance, determines our future.
But in Belfast we're in the midst of an Ebola scare. Take note, at this juncture I'm not necessarily being critical of Ebola, because Ebola follows bird flu, as bird flu follows Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, and that followed AIDS. So we can consider that now the old disease, like paganism, the Crusades, and nice poets.
You're a poet and prefer words.
If one of these absolves forgives me,
I shoot Antifa slogans on yellow buildings.
there are
flies
everywhere.
And lizards. Isn't it time we got going?
I could email
it
sick, of course.
Dear Ryanair, I have no middle name, and only want to fly Lufthansa.
If one of these abandoned bags turns out to be explosive, the wind of opinion might shift. I discovered in Ireland that ISIS is absolutely motivated by religion, and I actually heard that on Ryanair from Christodoulos of Denmark. He is to blame for my fanny pack swelling at the thought of a new job.
There was a missed call from Dr. Sam, and when I rang back, it was Vodafone. Just use your hands. They'll say there's no way that's you. And if it doesn't work, bring out the big guns. Those letter forms to K. Campanello embossed with immigration.
Sewers, Tammy the Rammy.
Help. I'm obsessed with Lana Del Rey.
Stomp, take chairs, sit down, face each other, as though it were a Q&A.
Transcript of the first Yes But Are We Enemies Writers' Council conference on being poetry.
It's so nice to be back in London, Derry. Derry.
Anyway, do you write when you travel?
No. The very opposite, in fact.
You don't write.
I actually delete previously written poems.
But the Yes But Are We Enemies Council has sent you to Mongolia, California and Connemara. Perhaps these trips have inspired some of the poetry in your latest collection?
No. I mean, I really appreciate you sending me, but...
Nonetheless, you write some very milky poetry.
That's lovely of you to say. People do say that, but actually my poetry is about me being sexually promiscuous.
I see. I loved your poem, Airport Checking Lounge.
I actually don't recall that title. Perhaps you're thinking of a different poet.
I'd like to turn the discussion over to Patrick. Patrick, what is your favorite of Stephen's poems?
The Airport one.
And what is your favorite milky?
I think that's up to the reader to decide. Actually, Patrick, I think it's up to the poet, because it's the poet's fault if the reader doesn't understand what the poet means in the poem. They're clearly just not being clear enough.
If it's urgent enough, I'm academically witty, my friend, my brother. Let's ask Siri what agreement means, with a husky voice that gives boners. The poor fucker, he's finally lost it, stopping at the roadside to air kiss. It could be dangerous, they might think we're cheating. Well, you're certainly better at it than I am at whatever I do.
To begin with, to write a poem, you take your feelings, the most important of those.
Well, I have learned to tangle with your kind of animal.
Hello, London. Next up is that guy Sam Revere from England with his famous poem, I'm a Baby Toad.
We've photoshopped you out, leaving an outline of your body shape, says the man who's cheating.
The first thing I discovered in Ireland was that Gerry Adams follows the editor of Gorse, Susan Tomaselli, and so I followed Gerry Adams. His first tweet was, I like dark chocolate. For as Billy Ramsell said on the last leg of one of these tours, writing a poem is so easy. It's not like writing a song or making a film.
I have no future in film. The truth is, it's not something I want to do.
We serve you to Prague, Paris, like a dictator toad, worming unmarked graves.
If you get in again, I'm leaving.
And just a few days ago, I was listening to the gentle tide of the bogside. Gentle water.
Where are you from?
Where are you from? fighting Irish is offensive because of the pint and not the leprechaun.
Now, I imagine myself on the other side. I sit them down with water in a city and document myself being there, like casts of Pompeii victims.
Do you have a memory, Christodoulos? Yeah, okay. So, if the internet's so fucking good, right, why do you still fucking bother making books? Repeat after me. Alva.
Elva?
Then work backwards into horses running from...
Paul Muldoon.
My name's Paul Muldoon.
And I'm not on Twitter.
I have a question for you, Mr. Muldoon. Do you read much contemporary poetry?
Well, that question reminds me of a question I was once asked in Armagh.
Okay, your turn again.
Yeah, okay.
Just wait a minute.
I hope they can find
Just wait a
the new
minute.
say.
Just wait a minute. Just wait a minute.
I,
Okay, you can go now.
I hope they can find a new say you, but maybe it'll be a chance for a true revolution of sorts. I don't know, but I trust Atlas. Skulls. Kagawa needed a 10-game run to show what you can do. Never given a chance, yet Rooney gets 10 years. So true. One chance is all you need, Jesse Owens. The Las Vegas VIP song today is Clocked by Coldplay. When you hear it, text Vegas
Ignore me,
53981. It's your chance to win the trip of a lifetime.
Pleasure to meet you.
Jesus Christ endured more than we can ever
Ignore me,
imagine,
I'm not
just for
here.
the chance of the relationship with us.
Hello.
I wish I could
Focus
hurt
on
you
the
way you
poet.
hurt me.
Yes, I'll shake your
But I
hand.
know
It's
that if I
very
had
nice
the
of you to
chance, I
offer.
wouldn't do it.
Hello.
Last chance to get your copies of
Nice to
Zoo
see you.
magazine, everyone. It's my first ever cover, so don't miss out.
High five.
There's a chance I might be going to Porter alone, and I'm okay with this. Emoji, the chance to be free from the restraints of language, but lacking diversity. Reese, is there a chance to get your photo?
Hello, Denmark.
I'd be grateful, babe.
How are you?
You get a second chance if payment bounces from today. Set up low
Famous
balance alerts
forever.
in your bank so
When people
you're
watch the
protected.
film, they're not going to see him. This is the legacy of the performance here. I own
I'm proud
the
to say I was
performance.
left
No one will
speechless.
ever hear him. They're
Umbrella
going to
on
hear this and
standby
they're going to
today.
see you, which
Many
is so
dry
important.
hours. So, no need to
So
cancel your
rare.
outdoor plans.
Thank you.
Rain chance update,
Beautiful.
4:30.
You're far
7
more attractive
a.m.
than he is.
Passes camera back to Patrick. But I will middle by speaking of
Stephen J. Fowler,
someone who I'm very proud to say has become a friend since I interviewed him for my
Doorman of the Northeast.
series a fair few years ago now. I could not have found a better and more responsible and generous co-curator and collaborator for this project. He has managed to be so many things at once, in his work and in his person.
Fierce.
And warm, yet dignified and serious, experimental
Green.
and yet never trenchant or posturing. He's Irish, he's Cypriot, and
British, Swedish, Romanian, Thai.
yet neither, both of these.
Would be shortlisted for sure.
For sure.
Or else frog march before the board.
The board.
He dies like a natural, you know, blindfolded or not.
These 6 poets are the only ones worth lauding.
It's an admission of defeat.
Maybe.
Or a how.
Maybe.
Maybe I'm just trying to avoid national outrage. Nothing like a global outage.
To scramble.
Their methods
Though, when you
and
think of
hidden
it,
agendas.
there
We're
is
running
nothing
on
worse
limited
than
credit.
fattened,
A time bomb.
subsidized,
Isn't there something
government-funded
rotten about
poetry
endorsements?
tour
Some
that just
rotten
endlessly talks?
about fund.